They didn't send you a letter. They didn't make an announcement. But quietly, right now in 2026, thousands of seniors are opening their bank accounts and seeing numbers they don't recognize, numbers that are lower than they should be. The Social Security Administration has made changes that could directly impact your monthly benefits, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening until it's too late. We're talking about reductions that could cost you hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars every single year. Are you on Medicare? Do you receive SSI or SSDI? Are you 62 or older and planning to claim soon? Then stop whatever you're doing, because what I'm about to share in this video could be the most important financial information you hear all year. Here's what's terrifying. The people being hit hardest aren't the ones who did anything wrong. They're everyday retirees, veterans, widows, hard-working Americans who followed all the rules and still got blindsided by these new SSA policies. But here's the good news. There are steps you can take right now to protect your benefits before the next payment cycle hits. We're breaking down exactly what changed, who's affected, and the specific actions you need to take today to safeguard every dollar you've earned. Don't let the government quietly take what's yours. If this video just saved your retirement, hit that like button right now, because it helps us reach the seniors who need this information the most. So let's get into it, because what's happening right now with Social Security in 2026 is something that affects millions of Americans, and the mainstream media is barely covering it. If you have a parent, a grandparent, or if you yourself are collecting or planning to collect Social Security benefits, you need to hear every single word of what I'm about to tell you. Let's start with the basics, because some of you may be newer to this channel and might not fully understand how Social Security works. The Social Security Administration, the SSA, is the federal agency responsible for managing retirement benefits, disability benefits, and supplemental income for tens of millions of Americans. Every month, those people depend on those payments to cover rent, groceries, medication, and basic living expenses. For many seniors in this country, Social Security isn't a bonus. It's their entire financial lifeline. And when the SSA makes changes, even small ones, the ripple effects can be devastating for families who are already living on tight margins. Now, here's where 2026 comes in and why this year is particularly alarming. The SSA has implemented a series of policy and administrative changes that, when you look at them together, paint a very troubling picture for current and future beneficiaries. These aren't just small, bureaucratic tweaks. These are structural shifts in how benefits are calculated, reviewed, and distributed. And if you're not paying attention, you could find yourself receiving significantly less money than you expected, or worse, having your benefits paused or reduced without any clear explanation from the agency itself. Let's talk about the first major issue, and that's the renewed push for continuing disability reviews, or CDRs. If you receive Social Security Disability Insurance, also known as SSDI, the SSA is legally required to periodically review your case to make sure you still qualify for benefits. That sounds reasonable on the surface, right? But here's the problem. After years of backlog and understaffing, the SSA has ramped up these reviews significantly in 2026. They are processing cases that were delayed by months, sometimes years, all at once. What that means for you is that if you're an SSDI recipient and you haven't heard from the SSA in a while, there's a real chance that a review notice is coming your way soon, and if you don't respond correctly or on time, your benefits can be suspended immediately. Not reduced. Suspended. That means $0 coming in while you fight to get reinstated. And that process can take months. So, what do? First and foremost, make sure your contact information with the SSA is completely up to date. That means your mailing address, your phone number, your email if you've registered one, because the SSA will not chase you down. They will send one notice, and if you miss it, the clock starts ticking against you. Log into your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov. If you don't have one, create one today, not tomorrow today, and verify that everything is current. This one simple step could be the difference between keeping your benefits and losing them without warning. Now, let's move on to something that affects a broader group of people, including retirees, and that's the issue of overpayment clawbacks. This is one of the most painful and frankly unfair things happening in the Social Security system right now. Here's how it works. Sometimes the SSA makes an error and pays a beneficiary more money than they were supposed to receive. Maybe it was a miscalculation. Maybe it was a reporting error. Maybe the SSA's own system didn't update properly. Whatever the cause, when the SSA discovers the overpayment, even if it happened years ago, they have the legal authority to demand that money back. And in 2026, they are exercising that authority aggressively. What makes this so devastating is that many of the people receiving these overpayment notices had absolutely no idea they were being overpaid. They received their monthly deposit, assumed it was correct because the SSA sent it, and spent it on living expenses. Because that's what you do with money meant for living expenses. And now, out of nowhere, they're receiving letters saying they owe the government thousands of dollars. In some cases, tens of thousands of dollars. And if they don't respond or set up a repayment plan, the SSA can withhold future benefits entirely until the debt is recovered. The SSA did make some adjustments to how aggressively they can withhold payments after public outcry in recent years, but make no mistake, they are still actively pursuing these overpayment recoveries in 2026, and they are still causing enormous financial hardship for people who did nothing intentionally wrong. If you receive an overpayment notice, do not ignore it and do not panic. You have the right to appeal, and you have the right to request a waiver if repaying the money would cause financial hardship. There is a formal process for this, and it works, but only if you engage with it. The worst thing you can do is throw that letter in a drawer and hope it goes away. It won't. Let's talk now about something that's hitting people who are approaching retirement age, and this is incredibly important for anyone between the ages of 58 and 65 right now. There is widespread confusion and misinformation circulating about when and how to claim Social Security retirement benefits, and that confusion is costing people real money. The decisions you make about when to file, whether that's at 62 at your full retirement age or at 70, have permanent, lifelong consequences on the amount you receive every single month for the rest of your life. And in an environment where the cost of living keeps climbing, locking yourself into a lower benefit amount because you filed too early or without the right information is a mistake you cannot undo. Here's what you need to understand. If you claim Social Security retirement benefits before your full retirement age, which is currently 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, your monthly benefit is permanently reduced. We're not talking about a small haircut here. We're talking about reductions of up to 30% depending on how early you file. On the other hand, every year you wait past your full retirement age, up until age 70, your benefit grows by approximately 8%. That's a guaranteed risk-free return that no investment on Wall Street can promise you. So, the question of when to file is one of the most consequential financial decisions you will ever make, and it deserves serious, personalized thought. Not a rushed decision made because you're nervous or because someone at a family dinner told you to just take it early. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, what if Social Security runs out of money? What if I wait until 70 and then the whole system collapses? That fear is understandable, and I want to address it directly. The Social Security Trust Fund has been a topic of political debate for decades, and the trustees' reports do project that, without legislative changes, the program could face benefit reductions, not elimination, but reductions, sometime in the 2030s. However, and this is critically important, Social Security is funded by payroll taxes paid by working Americans every single day. As long as people are working, money is flowing into the system. A complete collapse of Social Security is not a realistic scenario. It is a political talking point, not an economic reality. The more likely outcome is that Congress will make adjustments, as they have done before, to keep the program solvent. So please, do not let fear of a hypothetical future collapse push you into a permanent reduction in your benefits today. Let's shift now and talk about Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, because the people receiving SSI are often the most vulnerable and the least equipped to navigate bureaucratic surprises. SSI is a needs-based program for elderly, blind, or disabled individuals with limited income and resources. The benefit amounts are already modest. We're talking about just over $900 per month for an individual in 2026, and yet the rules around SSI are extraordinarily complex. There are strict limits on how much money you can have in a bank account, what counts as income, what kinds of in-kind support from family members might reduce your benefit, and so on. And many SSI recipients are unknowingly running afoul of these rules, not because they're trying to cheat the system, but because the rules are genuinely confusing, and the SSA doesn't always do a great job explaining them. One of the most common issues right now involves what the SSA calls in-kind support and maintenance. This is a technical term for things like a family member paying your rent or buying your groceries. Under SSA rules, if someone is helping support you financially in any way, that can count as income and reduce your SSI benefit. The SSA is paying much closer attention to these situations in 2026, and recipients are finding their benefits reduced because a son or daughter helped them out during a tough month. If you receive SSI, you need to understand these rules thoroughly. And if you're unsure whether something you're receiving counts as income, call the SSA directly and ask before it becomes a problem. Now, before we start wrapping up, I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed nearly enough, and that's the importance of having an advocate or a representative when dealing with the SSA. The Social Security system is massive, complex, and slow. It was not designed with the average person's convenience in mind. When something goes wrong, and sometimes things do go wrong, navigating the appeals process, understanding your rights, and communicating effectively with the SSA can be genuinely overwhelming, especially for older Americans who may not be comfortable with online systems or who have health challenges that make managing paperwork difficult. You have options here. There are nonprofit legal aid organizations in most states that provide free assistance to Social Security beneficiaries. There are Social Security disability attorneys who work on contingency, meaning you don't pay them unless you win your case. There are benefits counselors available through area agencies on aging who can help seniors understand their rights and options at no cost. The point is, you do not have to fight this alone. And if you are in a dispute with the SSA right now, whether it's over an overpayment, a denial, a CDR, or anything else, please reach out and get help. The SSA has enormous resources and institutional knowledge. You deserve to have someone in your corner who knows how to navigate that system. Here's the bottom line as we close out today's video. Social Security is not going away. Your benefits are not automatically disappearing. But 2026 is a year where the SSA is being more aggressive, more active, and frankly, more demanding of beneficiaries than it has been in quite some time. Overpayment clawbacks are increasing. Disability reviews are accelerating. The rules around SSI are being enforced more strictly. And the decisions that pre-retirees make right now about when and how to claim benefits will follow them for the rest of their lives. Being informed is not optional anymore. It is your first and most powerful line of defense. Update your contact information with the SSA today. Create or log into your My Social Security account. Read every letter the SSA sends you and respond promptly. Understand your rights before a problem becomes a crisis. And if you're approaching retirement, take the time to truly evaluate your filing strategy. Because the right decision for you depends on your health, your finances, your spouse's situation, and a dozen other personal factors that a generic answer simply can't account for. You've worked your whole life for these benefits. You've earned them. Don't let confusion, fear, or bureaucratic missteps take what's rightfully yours.